Zachary was removed from his birth mother, around 3 months of age. He was then placed with Kristen Binder, who adopted him. When he was in her care, reportedly he did well and was healthy for a portion of that time. Soon after, his adopted mother, Kristen, withdrew him from school and decided to homeschool him. A short time after that, the school psychologist noticed that he came in with his mom to pick up other children, and his whole side of his face was bruised. At that point, she made a hotline report to CPS, knowing that something was wrong.
When he came back into the exam room and Lisa had his shirt removed, it became apparent that not only was he suffering from severe malnutrition, but he was in significant respiratory distress. And the reason for that, I think, was that his abdomen was so distended, it was compromising his lung function.
When they called me on Zachary, they said, we have this little boy who has been starved and he's medically fragile. They said that he needed a specialized diet for refeeding, that he had a brain injury from the starvation, and they said that he had bruises.
He had shiny skin, he had edema or swelling of the extremities, which is characteristic of protein calorie malnutrition. He was very pale. His hair was pale. And these are all consequences of malnutrition.
Over time, we found out that she had placed Zachary in a hallway behind a steel metal gate that separated Zachary from the rest of the family. He had to sit on one side of the metal gate and literally watch the entire rest of the family eat their meals.
We called the emergency room at St. Joseph's Hospital, which is the closest hospital, and Mr. Del Valle drove him over there immediately, and he was taken straight to the back. So we got him to the hospital, I think, probably within 5 minutes of the time he left here.
I met Zachary at St. Joseph's Hospital, the Children's Medical Center. I was asked to come up to the hospital to pick him up.
He very attached himself to Julie very closely. I mean, he wouldn't usually go more than like a foot from her when he first came, so he just kind of shadow her all around the house.
He pretty much, he seemed to need a mom and that love and affection so much that he just climbed right into my lap.
Therapy with Zachary was a slow and very long process. He was often afraid in any situation. He didn't know who to trust. He didn't know who was here to take care of him, or who loved him, or who liked him, or who would hurt him. So I would say probably for the first couple months, he didn't really talk a lot in therapy sessions, sometimes not at all.
The nurses told me that he had been very tough to refeed, and that he seemed obsessed with food. He constantly was asking for food. And I think that was just because he didn't have enough.
I would say it probably took around 6 months before he actually started to talk to me about what happened in his home. And once he found his voice, he didn't stop talking.
Childhelp is focused solely on the traumatized children and rehabilitating them. And they have a group of experts here that have specialized in the therapies for the traumatized children and the post-traumatic stress and the bonding and attachment. They seem to have all of these experts in one place.
The job we do collaborating with the other agencies, Childhelp, police, Child Protective Services, is so much better working together than we could do working individually. And it makes it easier for people to stay in this field knowing that the job they're doing is a better job, and they're taking better care of their children and taking better care of their cases.
I don't have enough good things to say about Childhelp. It's hard to put it in words how much help that they've given these kids, and Zachary and our family and the support. And without them, I don't know if we would have been able to do as good of a job as we've done with Zachary, because I wouldn't have had that person to come to and say, this is going on this week, and what do I do?
Zachary's amazing. He truly, I can say without question, is one of the most gentle, kind-hearted, loving children I've ever met.
I got to watch him fill out and grow and start to develop cognitively, start to talk more. It's very rewarding to watch him change.
It's so great to see him now because he talks about sports at school and he talks about friends and video games and just normal kid stuff. So it's an amazing story. He came full circle.
He's really grown from a very introverted, closed-in child that's gone through severe neglect to somebody who's very outgoing and wanting to be neat, wander around the neighborhood, plays all the children, loves everyone.
And it's that smile and that light and that exuberance that he shows for life. He's very passionate about, every day. And he's so much fun because he's excited about everything.
It's very clear he's really become a very happy child and is going to become a very happy, good adult.